Today is the morning of Wednesday, August 12th, and the weather is hazy and humid, and it's the day that you want to keep your eye on the weather, as later in the day you could have thunderstorms really at any time, and they could be significant and affect the track condition. Right now, the track is both firm on the turf and fast for the main surface, so Roselli has handicapped the race of the day in that way, and we'll hear from him in just a bit. Last night, the Fasig-Tipton sales finished up for yearlings, and the early word is that it was a very successful sale. The only question I really came away from it was, will the grounds be large enough to accommodate more people should the sales gain in popularity under the Sheikh's ownership? I'm not sure how the facility would deal with that problem, albeit it would be a good problem. So without further ado, here's Roselli with the stakes race of the day.
There might be a little confusion about Wednesday and Thursday stakes races. They're for the New York Stallion Series. Now, this is perhaps the most obscure stakes racing that you're going to find at Saratoga. The New York Stallion Series is for horses that are or have been sired by stallions standing in New York. So it's even more restrictive than New York bred racing. You'll find that a lot of the better New York breds simply aren't eligible for these races because a lot of the best New York breds are mares who are shipped down to Kentucky and stood to Kentucky stallions and then are brought back to New York. The foal drops in New York and it's technically a New York bred. New York stallion bred horses are bred to stallions who are residents of New York State. And actually the mare can be from anywhere, which sometimes helps the quality. So we have here a race, the New York Stallion Series, $150,000 for 3-year-olds, 8.5 furlongs on the turf. It's quite a strong restriction. But we do have some decent performers in here. There are several of these horses that have performed well in open listed stakes. So it's not entirely to be dismissed. I know that I was a part owner of a Stallion Series filly who won a $250,000 race at Saratoga several years ago, and believe me, the thrill is just as great as winning any stakes race, and you know what, the money landed in our account the same way too, so I wouldn't completely dismiss this. Let's take a look at several of these in here that have a chance. I like Scientist. He breaks from the rail. He's been performing quite well in open-listed stakes, including a mile at Belmont. You probably get a price here a little bit because he folded against several of these in the spring New York Stallion Series. It was a sprint. I think that it's quite likely he's going to get better rating in here. So he could get a much better trip being on the rail and being rated at a better pace, and should help his finish a lot. I don't think he'll perform anywhere near as badly as he did before. Another horse who might be a bit under the radar is Storm Hope. Storm Hope, until his last outing, had tried to set up shop as a deep closer that wasn't really working so well for him. In his last race, he lay a lot closer and broke his maiden, but therein lies the problem. This is Storm Hope's first race against winners. Some of these are quite accomplished, but I think the change in tactics has made him a better horse, and we'll see how he performs. He's got a real chance to step it up. The two that will take the most money here, Uncle T7 and Mini Punt. Uncle T7, probably going to be the favorite. A great effort in an open-listed stakes as a juvenile here at Saratoga at this distance. So you always like that with the trip and track when they've performed well. He's placed in open stakes and straight New York bred stakes also. Dirt, turf, sprint, route, doesn't seem to matter. Uncle T7 fires every time and will deservedly be a short price in here. I'd like to try to beat him, though, with Mini Punt. Mini Punt won that aforementioned Stallion Series sprint stakes in the spring at Belmont, beating Uncle T7 and a couple of other these. Last time he went at this trip and floundered really over a yielding turf course. Now, I don't know right now how the turf course will come up. I'm assuming it'll come up good or firm, but you never know. It can always rain more at Saratoga. But mini punt's been training well, should rebound, should be mildly not chalky. I mean, maybe a 3-1, 7-2 shot, and I think has the best chance. So it's mini punt, scientist, Uncle T7. Those are the ones I like.